Hi AF, this is Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. I am getting ready to listen to your speaking practice test. I have the IBT rubrics here. I have your practice test, and let's get started. So I'm going to listen to the whole thing once without making any comments at all. Then I'll listen to it a second time. I'll provide some feedback and give you my estimated score. It'll be from 0 to 30 points. So the question is, do you prefer to study alone or study as a group?
For me, I definitely prefer to study alone, mainly because of two reasons. First, I think that when you study alone, you are more concentrated. Like you can get less distractions. For example, if you are studying with a group, maybe they can tell a joke or start playing, and you can get distracted by this. And secondly, I think that when you study alone, you can also use more books that are available. Maybe if you're in a group, for example, someone can be using one book that you need to use, so you have to wait till he finish to start using that book.
Okay, so I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think you're in the 4 area here. So I'm thinking probably 3. So my first impression is maybe 22 to 23 points out of 30. So maybe minor difficulties with pronunciation, tone, or pacing. You have effective use of grammar and vocabulary, but you may have what's called imprecise or inaccurate use of vocabulary or grammar. Overall development somewhat limited, usually lacks elaboration or specificity. I don't know if you noticed this, but you didn't give a specific example from your own personal experience, not one. Okay, let's listen to it one more time. So I'm thinking around 22 to 23 points out of 30. Let's listen one more time.
For me, I definitely
So there's no need to say for me, just say I
prefer
definitely.
to study alone, mainly because of two reasons. First, I think that when you study alone,
I would say I think when I study alone, let's keep things focused from that first person singular point of view. So if you say, well, first of all, when I study alone, and once you say that, that's going to force you to give a specific example from your own experience. And that's a type of concrete detail that's going to give you a strong score.
you are more concentrated. Like you can get less distractions.
And you want to say, I am more concentrated on, I would say fewer, not less distractions. So use fewer with count nouns, plural count nouns, use less with uncount nouns. For example, I have less homework today than I had yesterday, or I have fewer homework assignments today than
For
yesterday.
example, if you are studying with a group, maybe they can.
Okay, for example, how about this? For example, last semester I was preparing for my biology final exam and I was studying in a group with 3 other classmates. As we started to learn cell division and the process of photosynthesis, blah, 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 and then talk about how some of the group members, they distracted you from focusing on those key areas.
Tell a joke or start playing, and you can get distracted by this. And secondly, I think that when you study alone, you can also use more books that are available.
Or so you can say, for example, when I'm studying alone, I can have better access to course materials. And then again, give an example and go back to that same example. So as I was studying studying for my biology final exam last semester, I was able to blah, blah, blah and explain that idea.
Maybe if you're in a group, for example, someone can be using one book that you need to use, so you have to wait till he finish to start using that book.
Okay, so I think that my first impression is probably pretty good. I'm going to put you at 22 to 23 points out of 30 on this. I think you're 3 in the delivery area, 3 in the language use area, and 3 in the topic development area. So to improve, I think with your delivery, you need to vary your intonation a little more and you need to speed up your speaking rate maybe by 5 to 10%. You need to get to where you can speak about 140 to 160 words a minute. Language use, you use sometimes imprecise type vocabulary. I didn't notice a lot of grammar errors other than the less versus the fewer. So your grammar is not bad. It's pretty good, but maybe a little bit limited. And then with the topic development, like I said a minute ago, you need to use more specific concrete detail to support your ideas. And the best way to do that is to avoid the you point of view. I wouldn't even use it. So focus on either the I, the me, or the my, or the he, she, or it. That's the first or the third person points of view. I think those are better in the independent writing and speaking tasks. All right, well, thank you for doing this practice test. And remember that I give free feedback one time, and this is your one time feedback. So do not send me any more speaking practice tests to grade. If you like my feedback, I do have a TOEFL speaking and writing service. If you go over to bettertoeflscores.com, click at the top where it says TOEFL speaking and writing feedback service, you can learn about it. It's not very expensive, and you can continue to get my support and feedback as you do your speaking and writing practice.